Lastly is the coaching officer. Who appoints the coaching officer? Well, in our instance, what we have suggested is that the coaching officer is selected and not elected. Because it's a person really who has good diplomatic skills, good communicative ability, is enthusiastic, dynamic, and has a good rapport with people. And you don't necessarily have to be a Mickey Hart. This is one of our coaching officers, and his enthusiasm is absolutely infectious. He's inspirational. Mightn't be very good technically, and I always made that case about a very good friend of mine who was a very good coach to me, and I love bringing up his name, Sean Purcell. A lot of you will remember he was a fantastic player. As a coach, technically or tactically, he was extremely poor. But you would do anything for this guy. He was just inspirational. So you certainly, to be a good coaching officer, it's not a prerequisite that you have been a great player or that you're a great coach. But you just have to have the skill sets to be able to get people together, get them to produce their own policy, their own football philosophy. Because once they do that, they become partners. And that's very important. Each club produces their own. And every year that they revisit, and if they want to amend it, the next group amend it to suit themselves. I would have to say that over the last number of years that we've been trying to promote this, we have some great coaching officers. And wherever we have a good coaching officer, I can assure you we have a fantastic coaching program. Because, people put in an enormous amount of time. But we can be much more efficient and much more coordinated. We get much more out of it if it's done efficiently and if everybody is working together. Is there any questions? Is that relevant for you?
Just wondering there with the coaching officer, a 1 year coaching officer still is not much because you're not developing much in 12 months.
Yeah.
Is it selected every year or is it selected every couple of years? How do you, and how much power do you give it?
Yeah, can I put it to you like this? That on the chairman, secretary and treasurer, right, the executive of the club are ex officio members of the coaching committee. And in my instance, they sit in it all the time. In our club, they sit down. The chairman and secretary are both of them. Treasurer very rarely. The chairman and secretary, they'll always sit in on the coaching committee. Now, how many meetings will they have in the year? Coaching committee? 5, tops. Start of the year, my busiest time of coaching officer this year was January, February, up to the end of March. The other thing I had to do, to be honest with you, when people are coming in, they're giving a hand as coaches, right? What I had to do is, what equipment do you need? Do the under-age needs? What equipment? So when you're starting, I have all your footballs, your cap, anything else, I have it for you. You don't have to go looking for it. I appreciate your effort. I appreciate the time that you're on the coaching officer. What can I do for you? Because when you go out coaching, you're off with your team. Okay, I'll meet you on a regular basis or give a session or two, whatever the case may be. I'll meet you on a fairly regular basis, see how it's going for you. But the most important thing is when we get the group back in again, that we're watching players and tracking players that are coming through. Particularly in our case, we have a lot of cases we're playing schools, we're playing under 16, we're playing under 18. We're watching them coming through, we're watching their injuries. So there's a kind of a caring, nurturing attitude with them too, and of course they reciprocate to that. We're looking after their welfare as well. But the most important meetings we have are when all our coaches get back together. And I'll tell you what's fantastic, the fact that our senior coaches, our senior managers, sit down with the under-10s. The under-10s and under-12s, they really appreciate that. And also our seniors are, the other difficulty we're trying to overcome, to be honest with you, and you know all this, is part of the role of the coaching officer is trying to produce homegrown coaches. It's a big difficulty at home. But we're overcoming it. We're winning the battle. We're trying to make sure that every club have got their own coaches. And ultimately, I suppose, every county has it. So we're not going outside looking for the magic pill, because it isn't out there.
John, could you tell me how...
Does that answer your question? Sorry.
Partially. In your club, I just wondering, how do you pick your coaches? Now you have some, you know very well how to be the officer yourself.
Yeah.
Some are better coaches than others. You might have a very enthusiastic parent, but you know he's not going to be the right coach for your kid. How do you handle all that? How do you deal with all that, like as a coaching officer? Or do you just say, listen, that's not my job, you know? How do you handle that?
Well, we have an underage board as well, right? So at the beginning of the year,
An underage side?
board, an underage board will sit down, chairman secretary, right?
Right.
I sit down with them, right? Chairman secretary senior club. We sit down at the beginning of the year and we go to, we ask people, physically ask people, anybody wants to help put up their hand, right? So we subsequently appoint managers. But we spend a bit of time talking to managers when we appoint them, right? And we also point out that we have a code of conduct and we have a coaching philosophy here that you must buy into. If you want to change it, we can change it within the coaching fraternity or within the coaching committee. You can change it, okay? But we're there in a supportive role. But they have to fit in to the philosophy of the club. And the particular things that we're trying to develop now, what we do as well, to be honest with you, we have produced our, and I'm sorry I didn't bring it, we have produced our booklets, but I can send out a few of them to sign. You've seen them, we've produced our booklets, right? The lads, we've all done it together. I've worked with the lads, right, in getting their views and their opinions, particularly about playing the game. And we also produce a little card for all our coaches saying exactly the few things that we want to develop at each level. So each coach has to work on those particular things. Now, when we have difficulties, and we do, how do we deal with it? We literally take the people into go through exactly what was agreed, what was the agreement, what were the parameters, what was the agreement, the reason for the agreement. And if they have differences of opinion, we try to reconcile those opinions in that form.
When you say we, you're saying the coaching officer plus the
coaching officer plus chairman and secretary, exactly, yeah. Specific problems, that's where we resolve it. Other problems with a bigger group. Is that?
Very good, yeah.
I'm not saying we don't have problems though. There's always, well, I don't call them problems, there's always challenges. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But I find that when they're addressed properly, you know, and diplomatically and respectfully, you know, generally we overcome most. But it's a very exciting role, you know, and you have every club I know, and I know hundreds of clubs, and I tell you this, I can identify people in every club who are or can be or potentially brilliant coaching officers. And some of the people I know that are coaching officers in clubs, right, I can tell you this, they never played football or hurling, but they are fantastic coaching officers. Never played it. And we have quite a few ladies coaching us. Very good, very efficient. Nice to hear about it. Is there any questions on?
Should the coaching officer, can he be a coach of one of the under 10s or under 10s or 12s, or should he just be separate from that?
In my opinion, he should be separate. In my opinion, he can go and take a session, but I don't think he should be involved specifically with any specific age group. You know, I think he should. You know, he works with everybody. I don't think he should be working with them. I think he should sacrifice that role for the greater picture. But again, I have to say I'm big in the role, I'm big in the significance, I'm big in the impact that it can have, a huge impact on the clubs, because it's a tremendous kind of a cohesive element or agent within the club to bring groups together, bring greater understanding, greater appreciation within the club. And I'm big in the recreation game, I have to say. I think it's going to be, I really think it's going to be phenomenal over the next number of years. So, thanks very much for your time. I hope it was meaningful and you can get something out of it.